I'm Stan.
What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the Meditations. I feel bad. I think I just accidentally cut Jason off as he was trying to say something there, after I was bemoaning that I think I'm bad at this game. For anyone jumping over from the previous game, it was a stunning victory by the Rebel Jedi Force users. You look like you got something.
Well, I was just going to say, for what it's worth, I think out of all of the games we've played, this was probably one of the bloodiest. We actually had 2 units removed from the table this game, which you don't see super often.
And Maul was about to go, too.
Maul was about to go. Rex was 1 away from being wounded. I wounded the Grand Inquisitor on the last turn. Ahsoka was 1 away from being wounded. A lot of damage went out this game, but then there was also just a lot of healing. So some characters, like the Grand Inquisitor until the very end, and even Vader for a little bit, were just not dealing with any damage. They didn't want to take any.
Yeah, there was a lot of healing going on. Unfortunately, it never really translated to much for me, which is the downside of things. But I mean, that is life, right? And at least this game, I didn't feel like I kept getting cheated by that objective. Like the priority just keep going to 1.
No, although I will say Kenobi sitting on that one was really, really good for a while.
That scored you what, like 5 points total or something like that? Like it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And once again, Gar Saxon has just really proven to be an amazing tool in this game.
Gar Saxon is my ace, apparently. He does so much for me, even when he doesn't do much for me. Like, his bare minimum of just, I'm going to move a Mandalorian and I'm going to move myself super far, it's solid. He's the reason why Rex was unable to do anything this game, because that strain and the fact that he was on 1 health was
he also
crippling.
dummied Vader, right?
He dummied Vader. Yeah, like he had some really good attacks this game. I mean, near the end he kind of whiffed, but like that's 1 in 3. I'll take it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think Gar Saxon was definitely an MVP for you in this game. Yeah. No question about it. I'm a little disappointed that the clones really didn't get to do much.
No, unfortunately, they got stuck over here, and then they never activated again, which actually,
they were the next activation.
Yeah, they would have been my last activation this round.
My last one was the 5th brother. Yeah, and then I had Rex.
And unfortunately, this also just wasn't a great list for the clones. It didn't have very many Galactic Republic units, so Coordinated Fire wasn't proccing really anywhere except for when Ahsoka was attacking, and she didn't attack that much this game. She did a lot of moving and a bit of healing.
Yeah.
But
no, it was interesting. I liked bringing out the Inquisitor pieces. I liked bringing out Vader. I don't like the 3rd sister. I don't like Reva.
That's fair. I mean, she didn't get a chance to shine this game either. Unfortunately, she was kind of out of position for a good chunk of the game. She was kind of in a spot where it's like, you never wanted to activate her because she's way over there and not relevant on any objective.
I don't even think it's necessarily that. It's that she activated too early. So I think one of my mistakes is I deployed in a way where I had most of my, like half my team over here and the other half kind of going wherever. And I think, because I've done that a couple times now, and I think it's hurt me every time I've done that. Because Reva has spent 2 turns getting into the fight itself.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that was what the first attack she made this game, I think.
I think so.
It was just against Ahsoka there.
Think so. And
which, to be fair, in a game like this, you don't actually get that many activations. Like, the clones never actually made an attack this game.
No, and that's very fair. And I will say, like, the activations I had, I felt a lot of them were pretty impactful. My stupid clones, like, coming up just a couple damage shy against the Super Commandos was game-changing.
With the 501st, too, is that they're really not great at actually putting out damage when their first thing on their chart is just a pin. They don't do very much in the way of damage.
No, you're absolutely right. They need a little. You know what? I just realized this. There was a couple instances where I did an enfeeble when I shouldn't have.
Oh, really?
Because it's Inquisitorious units that get the enfeeble.
Oh, well.
It didn't really matter.
Yep.
It didn't really matter in the grain scheme.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't like, had it been a super, super tight win your way, it would have been like, that kind of sucks. But in this case, it didn't end up mattering. It was my game either way.
Yeah, so. And the bothersome thing is, like, I had such a strong first struggle, and then all of a sudden, like, just 1 turn just turned it all the way around. I'm like, well,
that turn where I scored 4 was just huge, right? And
there might be a little bit of dodginess there. Had to change some batteries. So hopefully I get the editing and all this. So there might be some weird clips going on here.
That's all fine.
That's all fine.
You were just talking about the 1 turn where it swung around, and I think you're absolutely right. That turn where I turned around, and I think I grabbed your back point and the middle point.
That was huge. That was such a good play on your part.
4 of the 5 are mine, and
I couldn't come back from that.
That was the, I'm going to activate the guys that you dazed, and accept the fact that I'm not doing anything on attrition this turn. I'm just grabbing a couple points.
And I'm wondering if that's actually one of my big flaws right now with the game. I'm going too hard into attrition too often. Uh, I don't know. It actually kind of okay. So let's talk about that for a little bit. It feels kind of bad because I feel like I want attrition to be a viable tactic in the game, and I don't feel it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with you. I think it depends. Like, does attrition matter? Definitely. Dazing characters like the clones, like it feels really bad dropping 3 force to use the little dash thing.
Super bad.
That feels terrible. So getting nice early dazes out on the squishier units like the 501st Troopers and what you did to my Super Commandos, I think that's very, very valuable attrition. But in terms of spending time wailing on characters like the Fifth Brother who has protection, I don't think it would have been smart on my part to have put a bunch of attacks into him, which is why I didn't the entire game. Because he's not going to go down very quickly, and sure, making you spend 3 force to do your repulse would be freaking amazing because that ability is amazing. But I think overall, like if it's between trying to dummy someone by grabbing focus actions that aren't free or stuff like that, and grabbing a point, I'm going to grab the point. And attrition isn't really a way to actually win games yet.
Yeah, and I know I feel like I'm trying to force a square peg into a round hole on this one because a lot of my lists have been very attrition focused.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's a lot of lightsabers rolling around
A
here,
lot of lightsabers. I mean, in this particular list, I'm running 4 of them, right?
which is super cool. Like, I mean,
it is.
It's
It just
great to look at.
it just feels a little bad is what it kind of feels like at the moment, which is unfortunate.
Yep.
Which is really unfortunate, and I don't really know what to do about that. Like it just don't get me wrong. I'm all for a nice tactical game. I want both attrition and control and objective running. I want them all to be viable options, right? But right now, I don't feel like attrition is the viable option.
Yeah, attrition is definitely something that like when it's the right option, it's the right option, but it can't be the right option for most of the game. It needs to be very sparingly used. And unfortunately, that means trying to play a very kill focused game just doesn't seem to work very well.
Yeah, because like I feel like I was putting great damage into you.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, you took Maul down in a single hit twice.
yeah, that felt super good to be honest. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But what did it do for me, right?
Yeah, well,
Like-
at the end of the day, Maul still scored the points when he needed to score the points. He killed the things when he needed to kill the things.
Yep.
Same for the Super Commandos. You put a bunch of damage into them, but they still scored everything that they needed to score this game, with the exception of that last one, which, like, at the end of the day, as we saw, didn't end up mattering. But it was just one of those things where it was like the the big attrition swings that you did have didn't end up actually having a major impact on the outcome.
Yeah. No, mind you, I also wasn't a big fan of the objective for the second struggle that
You
I pulled
definitely
there.
got a bit of a rough one.
Which wasn't great. I mean, I don't know if the other two were necessarily any better.
I think this one here probably would have been pretty good for you because you had all your Inquisitors kind of bunched up.
Actually, yeah, that's very true. That would have been so much for the element of surprise would have been a good one for me.
And I definitely had a lot more models focused on like kind of this side in the middle of the board. So you getting this one would have been, I think, a little better at least.
Yeah, I think right now though, at least with the limited amount of characters we have, I do feel like there's a little bit of pigeonholing that's happening with list building. I'm gonna be honest. I think generally speaking, you always want to have Mandos in the list at the moment.
I don't know if I entirely agree. I think if you're going for like a very clone synergy or something, that can work too. But I do agree that models like Gar Saxon and the Mando units work really, really well when you have at least a couple of them. And Gar Saxon's just amazing.
Yeah, Gar Saxon's great. I mean, I think theoretically though, if you were running the Super Commandos, you might have even gotten even more performance if you'd done Bo Katan instead of Gar Saxon. No, instead of Gar Saxon.
Oh, instead of Saxon.
Because they're both the Super Commandos and Bo Katan are a little bit more melee focused.
Yep. No, that's definitely fair.
Not only that, but she also gives like the protection and steadfast.
Something like that. Yeah, Mando's within 3 or something.
Yeah, higher purpose or something like that.
Yeah.
Which, it's just an extra little bit of things. It would have kept your Mandos kicking around a little bit longer. That's not to say you didn't get great work out of your guys.
Yeah, they got a lot of value.
Did.
They did go down very quickly when you did decide to punch them.
And yeah, you know what? I think the 501st were my weak link in this one.
Yeah, they got dummied very fast this game.
Now, here's what's really upsetting, though. there are very few 3-threat supports
It
in
was
the
them
game.
or droids, right? Or Magna Guard.
It was them, Magna Guard, or droids. And honestly, I think Magna Guard. I think that's what you run with Vader at the moment. Is just Magna Guard.
It's fair.
Because honestly, the 501st really didn't do much for me. Which means if you're not running the 501st, you leave Rex at home. Right?
Yep. I don't think Rex is getting a super crazy amount out of this without them. Like Rex definitely wants a lot of Republic.
Which means I think then you either run Jango or you run Ahsoka, Padawan Tano.
Yep, I think that's probably accurate. And unfortunately, Rex didn't get to shine here either because he was in this weird situation of on 1 health with a strain. Like that is worse than death in this game.
Well, you know what? I probably should have actually activated him sooner. Just went for the objective.
It's fair.
And because I could have moved somebody with his ability, and at the very least, he still could have done other things. Like that might have actually been a misplay on my part.
I will say though, I definitely think the state Rex is in at like from a large part of this game, where like he is just such an awkward activation where you're not getting the full value of the activation. I think that's probably the worst state to have a model in this game, and it's definitely worse than them being dazed most of the time or injured or whatever.
I think Jango would have gotten a lot more work for me done in this game than Rex.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're right. Now, I like the idea of like Rex can influence Vader Jedi Hunter as well, which is kind of cool. But because I only got 1 activation off Rex, it didn't really matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, which is a shame because whenever I've played Rex in the past, he's a good star of the team.
Don't get me wrong. I'm in no way saying Rex is bad, but I just think in this particular strike team, Rex
didn't have
is bad.
Republic to really have him shine.
I don't even think that's necessarily the case. I think it's more just it was a combination of things. It was a combination of lack of Republic. Although I did have 3 Republic units.
You did, right? His entire squad was still Republic.
But the strain combined with you just leaving him with 1 health remaining.
Yeah,
it kept me from really doing much of anything with him. And
there was so many times I thought about just trying to finish him off and was like, other than the time when I was like, oh, this would have won me the game, every single time I was kind of just like, no, this is better. Like you clearing that strain for free is worse for me.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's just kind of how it rolls out. Jason, I gotta say, Jason, you've taken to this game very well. Annoyingly so, because I would like to win a game. That'd be fun.
You got the first game.
I got the first game. Yeah, when you didn't know what you were doing, I got the first game. But I will say this: every game I've had with you has been a great game.
Yeah,
as much as every time you activate Garsax, and I just want to like kick you in the shins and little salty. I'll feel better about it later. But no, you've done very well with this game, and like you've got a solid head for this one. I am currently in the potato state of this game, I think. So we're going to see what happens. We obviously have way more games in the future.
For sure.
I think we got way more games in the future. We got Luminar and Barris that we got to get on the table as well.
Yeah, excited to see those in action.
And Grievous and the B2s are coming soon as well. So, in fact, like if you're watching this on the week it comes out, Grievous and the B2s are going to be the following week. Maybe we'll try to sneak in and film another game for that one. We'll see what happens. It all depends on schedules and everything like that. But yeah, I think we've said our piece.
Yeah, I've said what I needed to say.
You've said what you need to say. Okay. Well, Jason, congrats on the win. Very well fought. Very well played. And to everyone else watching, get involved in the conversation below. We'll see you next time. And remember, if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/AegisBrand Studios. There's a link in the description below. We'll see you next time. Happy wargaming.